So what happens when you trap some of the world's most famous people inside a giant circle and tell them to fight over $1 million for charity? Well, you get one of the wildest, most chaotic competitions the internet has ever seen. The question is, how did Mr. Beast pull off this masterpiece of entertainment? Let's break it all down.
First off, let's talk about the sheer scale of this thing. We're not talking about a couple of B-listers here. We're talking 30, count them, 30 massive celebrities. You've got comedians like Kevin Hart and Howie Mandel, musicians like Diplo, even the entire band 5 Seconds of Summer, all thrown together for this one insane event.
And the whole setup? It's brilliantly simple. Take 30 of the most famous people on the planet and trap them in a giant red circle. The one and only rule? Do not step out. It's basically a battle royale, but instead of video game characters, the contestants are all A-listers. Now, what are they playing for? A cool $1 million. But here's the absolute key. The money isn't for them. Nope, the entire prize goes to a charity that the winner gets to pick. And that just adds this whole other layer of high stakes to every single thing they do.
Okay, so the stage is set, the celebs are in the circle, and the game started right away. The very first challenge was a really simple but super high-stakes gamble that was designed to test everyone's nerve from the jump.
So check out this rule. It's just genius. You get one shot, one throw with a dodgeball at a hoop. If you make it, your biggest fan wins a brand new car. But if you miss, you're immediately out of the game for the $1 million. Is this incredible dilemma, right? Do you risk it all for a fan? Or do you play it safe to stay in the game for the charity?
And the consequences were instant. The comedian Jay Farrow, he stepped up first, he missed. And just like that, he was gone. Callum from 5 Seconds of Summer, he followed him right out. But then you have Diplo, who just coolly steps up, sinks the shot, wins a car for his fan, and keeps his spot in the game. So after a few more celebrities took the risk and failed, the group was already getting smaller. We went from 30 down to just 26. You could feel the pressure ramping up, and we were just getting started. All right, so with 4 people already out, the next challenge was basically designed to just decimate the field. It forced every single person to make a huge decision. Are you brains or are you brawn? And here's the choice they had to make. Were you strong or were you smart? If you picked strong, you were facing this brutal physical test. If you picked smart, you were up against the tricky memory puzzle. But in both games, the rule was the same. If you weren't one of the top 6, you were going home.
The Smart Challenge. This is where things got really interesting. I mean, some people like Diplo and Young Gravy, they solved it the normal way. But the real story came from the cheaters. Howie Mandel sneakily used his phone to film the pattern, and it actually worked. Meanwhile, NBA star Dwight Howard tried the same thing but couldn't see his screen and failed anyway. It just goes to show, even if you cheat, you gotta do it right.
And on the flip side, the strong challenge was just pure, raw physical punishment. They had to hang on to a vertical pole, kind of like a classic Survivor challenge. The last 6 people still hanging on would move on. It was a battle of pure willpower, and even pro athletes like the Bella Twins were saying they were in big trouble because they just had leg day.
So after that absolutely brutal test of brains versus brawn, the field was almost cut in half. Only 15 celebrities were left standing, and the entire game was about to shift from a solo mission to some very dangerous teamwork.
Now, this is where a huge twist comes in. Teamwork. But, in a competition like this, working together can turn into betrayal pretty darn fast. The 15 celebs who were left got split into 5 teams of 3. Their job? Cook a dish in 1 hour that would impress a pretty interesting panel of judges. You had Paris Hilton, the legendary chef Giada De Laurentiis, and Kevin Hart. The 2 teams with the worst dishes were out.
So while most of the teams are scrambling to actually cook something, Howie Mandel's strategy was just pure anarchy. He wasn't trying to make his team's dish better, he was trying to make everyone else's worse, starting by just grabbing all of a key ingredient, like all the mushrooms. And the results were, legendary failures. The blue team served a cold bolognese that someone apparently sneezed on, so they were out. But that was nothing compared to Howie Mandel's team. They served a dish they actually called the poo-poo platter. And it was so gross, Giada De Laurentiis said she couldn't even look at it. They got a score of 1 out of 30. So with 6 more celebrities sent packing after that kitchen nightmare, we were down to our final 8. And this is where the game started to get way more personal and way more psychological.
Okay, this is where the whole vibe of the competition completely flips. With just a handful of people left, the challenges weren't about skill anymore. They were about pure psychological warfare, forcing friends and teammates to turn on each other.
Get this. The final 8 were locked into 3 different cubes with their old teammates. And the rule was just brutal. Only one person from each cube could come out. They had to figure out among themselves who would move on, and they could ask for literally anything, from Twister to a box of puppies, to help them decide. And that brings us to our final 3, Steve-O, Young Gravy, and Audrey Nuna. The last game was a classic briefcase challenge. One of these 3 cases has the $1 million, but then Mr. Beast drops the ultimate twist. At the last second, you can steal someone else's case. It completely changed the game from one of luck to a super intense mind game.
And you can just feel the mental pressure cranked all the way up. Steve-O knew he was up against Audrey, who he called a stone-cold killer, because her face gave away absolutely nothing. He had to stare her down and try to read every tiny little twitch to figure out if she was bluffing.
And really, this is what it all comes down to. This is the Mr. Beast formula in a nutshell. You have this huge scale, these simple rules, and then the challenges just escalate from total physical chaos to this intense psychological drama, all leading up to one single gut-wrenching decision.
In the end, Steve-O made his move. Trusting his gut, he stole Audrey's briefcase at the very last moment, and his read was dead on. He had seen through her bluff, and inside that briefcase was the $1 million, which he won for his charity, Doctors Without Borders.
So, when you step back and look at the whole thing, the simple but brutal games, the mix of celebrity chaos with actual real-world charity, and that incredible build-up to a psychological finale, it's so much more than just a game show. It's a perfectly engineered entertainment machine. Which leads to the big question. By mixing all this together, has Mr. Beast created a new formula for entertainment that's basically just unstoppable?